Welcome back to American Beef Ranch. Today we're headed to tag our first calf, along with a whole bunch of irrigation work. Let's get to it. We have at least one calf to tag before we get to work on the irrigation stuff, before we hopefully start some water, before we rebuild a pump station. 100%, well, not 100%, but a lot of it. We've got a lot of parts to add. Well, not a lot of parts to add. One part to add, but we have to redo a whole bunch of stuff. So we're headed down here. We're gonna find the calf. I found him yesterday, but I didn't have any tags. I may have lost them. But we're gonna get down here, find this calf, look around. We may have some more. The timing is about exactly when we should expect calves to start hitting the ground, because I'm pretty sure I turn bulls out like the 4th of July or the 1st of July, somewhere in there. So about right on, because today is like the 27th or 28th of April, something like that. All right, it looks like most cows are down here by the watering hole. Let me check and see if they've been in their mineral. Oh my goodness, if they've been in their mineral. I gotta bring them some more. I do have more mineral. Definitely been blackened. They were on corn stalks and stuff, so I can imagine there's some mineral that they were not having all the way there. The one thing that is, you know, we're always talking about grass-fed finished cows and small cows and you know, efficient cattle and all that stuff. The one not so good thing about it is the calves are really spunky and they get up really fast. They don't, that cow is looking over here like she's got a calf. So, and this may not even be the right one, but they're really spunky. They really like to go, and they get up off the ground fast. They don't spend much time laid down. High number 2. So this would be a first calf heifer right here. I really don't know what she's acting like she's looking for a calf. But, I mean, she's a little bagged up. Maybe? Can't really tell. I think she's getting close to labor. So there's that. Oh, I spotted him. Or it. I spotted the calf. He's right down here in this little group of cows right here. Let's see if we can get him caught. I'm just gonna go ahead and stop and try to walk up to him. Sometimes that works better. Sometimes they just spook and take off. Interestingly, the cow I know pretty well. She's a cow that has been around since she was a baby here. She was born here, raised here. Was kind of scrawny for a long time, but it's really turned into a pretty good looking cow that I like. So right behind this one right here, number 40 there, and there they are. What do we got? A little bull calf, but she's got some serious mastitis. Not good. I'm hoping this little bull calf is okay, but he looks pretty spunky, little all right, but that cow is just not them. She's got 3/4 of that bag that are mastitis-y. So see if we can walk up here and somewhere get him caught. I don't know if we're gonna be able to pull it off. Come here, buddy. Whoa, girl. Easy. Ah. You're fine. You're okay. You're okay. Good mama. Good mama. Good mama. Good mama. There we go. Blue number 40 has the first calf, who's a bull, and everybody gets a little excited with the first one. It's okay. It's a good mama. We want her like that. One down. the rest of them to go. So we're gonna leave them alone. She's being a good mom, that's what I like to see. We'll go tool around a little bit out here in the desert, in the, well, native ground that won't be native very much longer. See if we can find any more calves. I have a feeling we might. So there's a whole bunch of these girls that are really close. Like, I feel like that one's in labor. Looks like Blue 42, the bull's mom, she's bagging up. She should be pretty close. So I went tooling around, couldn't find any more calves. I'm still gonna drive right over here and look at this one heifer because she keeps looking like she's got something over there. So, but got some more salt, mineral for them. We use various brands, but we use Selenium 90. It seems to be what people around here use and need. But yeah, that heifer, again, looks like she possibly may have something over there. I don't really know. She's kind of looking, she's off by herself a little bit. So I'm gonna run over here, take a look again. I'm not sure what's going on with her. It might be nothing, it might be something. If it's something, I'll show you. If it's nothing, we're gonna go work on irrigation stuff. Well, wouldn't you know, that first calf heifer has a calf. So I'm gonna try to get up here, get closer, jump out of the pickup again. We'll try to get it caught up against the cow herd, against the water. So very new baby, but spunky. So let's get out and try to get it tagged. Here it is, right here in front of her. This is a first calf heifer. She did a great job. Number one, green one. And it looks like she has a little heifer calf. So you know what that means? I'm not gonna be able to get caught. The little heifers are a pain in the butt. It could be a little bull, maybe it's a little bull. I think it's a little heifer. Mama's doing good. Calf looks really good. Let's see if we can get it caught. Ah, got her. Little heifer. Oh crap. Got her. You're fine, cow. All right, little girl. There you go. We've got our first calf heifer with the little black heifer. She's tag number 2. Calf number 1 is right back up here on the little berm there with his mama, Blue 40, with a little black bull calf. So it's a good start to the year. They were both, looks like one was born yesterday in the morning. One was either born last night or early this morning. They're both looking good. I gotta watch number 40. She's got some mastitis, so I hope she can keep that calf fed. We'll just have to pay attention to that one pretty close. He is drinking on one quarter, but he's not, doesn't look like he's been able to get a hold of the other one. So we'll have to pay attention to that. But now we got the cattle taken care of. We'll check them again later. We are gonna head and do irrigation work. So the idea here is to take this and add this guy right here, which is a filter or a fine mesh screen. Now to do that, we have to do obviously a little bit of welding. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut it off here and cap it. And then we're gonna do the same thing right here and cap it. We don't use that pump, so don't worry about it. Pretend it doesn't even exist. So we've got our 3 pumps here. Right here where this pipe comes out, we're gonna replace this with 8-inch pipe. We're gonna come up, then we're gonna go into a 90. That 90 is going to attach directly to the flange right there on that end of the filter. And then the outlet of the filter right there will be over the top of where this stake is. From this stake, we'll have a pipe that will go that way. So basically we're gonna tee it like that, go to that pipe, and it'll go over there about where that air vent is right there. And on top of that, there's a valve right here that we're replacing. Obviously I'm working on this too, but that is the goal today. And to do this without spending all the money, I'm gonna cut out this 90. I'm gonna use this 90 as my 45s to go there and there. And besides that, everything else is pretty much new, which is a good thing because it makes life easy. So first thing we need to do is we need to cut this off. We got to cut this off, and I want to go ahead and cut it in half too. It's cut like I don't know, 7/8 the way around on both sides, but there's still a little water in the bottom, so it makes it a little difficult. We're gonna cut those 290s, and then we can go ahead and square that face up, and we can cap that in pretty quickly. Welding underneath there is going to be difficult. I may have to dig that out with a shovel. Also, welding right here somewhere, literally like right there. Honestly, probably whatever that dimension is from the edge of that pipe right there, whatever this dimension is here, there to there, I'll probably match it right here so it looks about the same. And then we still have our isolation from our little pump. This pump likes to get plugged up. I kind of want to put a screen on it at the bottom. It's plugged right now. I'm gonna have to take it apart and get in there and clean it up, but we'll worry about that later. The big deal is we've got to get this screen in place so we can run our water, because we haven't got to run our water yet. And also the ditch rider's coming right now to give us water across the road on the lease farm. So we've got a lot of work to do, and we need to get this done today. So the first thing, I think, that 90, and then we'll go from there. Well, here's the deal. We got our grinder, we got our cutoff wheels, our whole box of cutoff wheels. We'll probably use all of those before we're said and done. And what I've done is I've got halfway around. I've got to the bottom now where all the water can finally drain out, because that's been a problem for the last couple days. And we're just gonna keep cutting. Now kids, if you're watching this episode, these are really important. You only get one set of eyeballs, so you might as well protect them. What are the odds that this lines up and connects? Slim to none. It actually is looking pretty square right now. So we'll see if it actually works out. We've got our 245s. I got it all cut apart. There's a lot of pressure on that pipe, and it's actually pretty square cut. Not too shabby, and I can actually weld this cap right there without any grinding. So that's what we like to see. Now what I'm gonna do, the next thing I'm gonna go ahead and make my next cut. I'm gonna take the measurement from there to there. I'm gonna transfer that over here on the other side of pump number 3. So about right there's, I'm gonna mark it, I'm gonna cut that one off. And then from there, at some point, what's gonna happen is we're gonna end up cutting it back here, and all this is gonna go away. So yes, and I actually probably should take that pump off and cap that thing down there, which may still happen. And what'll have to end up happening is we'll just leave that valve in place now, and we'll just cut this off right here somewhere so that all this can fall away, because we're gonna end up 45 in it, like somewhere's in about here to hit the stake. More work to be done. Let's get to it. See that right there, kids? That's why you wear your safety glasses, because that just hit me in the face when it came apart, and it was not the most comfortable thing. And I'm glad I had my glasses on, because it hit me above here in my forehead, hit me in the nose. If that stuff goes in your eyes, bye bye eyeballs. Makes it harder. Oh, and this valve's open. What an idiot. I feel so dumb. Yeah, that helps. This thing's garbage. It leaks. We got a new one over there. And now this is off. So I think what my plan is here is basically what I've done is gave myself a blank slate to work with, right? It's like I've already built the manifold here. Obviously we got to do that stuff, but now we can cap that, we can cap that, and then we can figure out where we want to cut this pipe so that we intersect this over that way. I'm literally just gonna square this pipe up and look down the angle and make sure that we're basically hitting the center of that. And it should be close enough. So now we'll mark it here. We'll cut it off. There you got it. A whole bunch of 8-inch pipe sitting on the ground. Now we can take our 45, made it up here, see where we need to do a little trimming and do a little welding. What I'm gonna do though is I'm gonna level this side here, because I know this side ain't perfectly level, but we'll level this side and then we'll get to fitting the rest, because there's gonna be a little work to get it to fit. That looks pretty good right there. I think we can get a level, tack it in place, and get to setting this up. Well, I got good news and I got bad news. Good news is that project is going a lot better than it did yesterday. The bad news is, but it's good news, is I got water coming in the ditch for my pond, for our lease pivot, not our pond, our lease pivot. So I've got to head down there and get it going. So let's go get some water going on the lease farm. Our ditch rider gave us our water. It's pretty dirty right now, but our new screen that we installed right here is actually doing a really good job of keeping a lot of the stuff out of the pipe. And then that pipe goes underground and it gravity flows. It falls about 12 feet down to the pump area where I did some work the other day, and I didn't film any of that, but I'll show you when we get down there. So basically what I'm doing right now is I'm just letting this flush so that we can flush out the pipe. And once the pipe starts to fill up a little bit, I'll shut the water off, run down there and set up the new pump station like it needs to be set up, because it's got to flush and drain. We'll kick on the power, tie in the pump, turn the water back on, and then kick it to the pivot, flush the pivot. Once the pivot's flush, shut it off real quick, stick the in plug in it, turn it on. It looks like there's a big lead in there. Get all that junk out. So I shut the water off and you can see it's slowing down. So let's run down to the pump and get it set up. All right, you can see this is filling up. It's actually coming out pretty clean, but what we're letting happen is we're draining all the water out of the sump. And now that a lot of this junk is out, we'll be able to set this pump up. So this pipe will get installed here. We'll have our rubber boot on the bottom, rubber boot out here. And that means this pump will be pressurized with water from this pipe, which will be so much better. And then once it works, and we know it works, we'll have to shut water off to terminate the cover crop and plant the corn. We'll bring this pump over to there and mount this pump in this pipe right here so that it's all tied together again, because right now we won't be able to use this pump. But for right now, we just want to make sure this is going to work before, if it's not going to work, we'll have to redo this and get it turned back down and get it into the bottom of the sump again. While we're waiting for that to drain, I'm going to go kick on our power and get everything set so that when I do kick the pump on, it is ready to go. So I've set the pivot now so the valves will work when there's pressure there. The automatic valve will turn on and it'll start flushing the pivot. I also got the drops in the first tower unwrapped. I'm gonna run up and look and see if that sump is drained, because as soon as it's drained, I need to get water turned back in, because otherwise I could flood out my neighbors and we don't want to do that. All right, you can see we're draining, but we still got a ways to go. So let's go work on getting drops unwrapped, and then we can come back and get this started. I think I could probably do 2 towers. Well, that's 3 of the 8 towers drops unwrapped, so we still got 5 more to go, and then obviously there's more drops as you go per tower because they got to put out more water. Gonna see if that thing's drained far enough. I have a feeling it's not. We may have to get wet. Well, we're lower, but we ain't there yet. So I'm gonna go over that drain and see if I can get it to drain a little faster. There we go. That may be a little more flow. I may have to add another. If this works, obviously we'll have to add some more drainage to it. We're gonna try to make this actually work sooner. So this goes on here. I gotta figure out where do I want this. Back here. And gonna make sure there's plenty sticking out. See if we can get it tightened down. And we'll just slip it on there. Snug this down too. That way it's close to the size it's supposed to be. And there's less water. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and try to stick this together. And I think what we can do is slide this over there, and it's pretty snug. Slide this 6-inch on like it needs to be. And we may be able to start the pump and get it to work good enough for now. And then when this water drains out, we can tighten it up. We can at least see if it's gonna work. Oh, we need to loosen it up a little. There we go. Get this over here. Slide on this. It's a little ghetto right now, but well, I don't think it's gonna leak now. So I'm gonna go turn the water back on and we're gonna kick the pump on. It definitely looks like our water level's coming back up a little bit, which I expected, right? It's not tight, so I expect it to come up a little bit. So what we're gonna do is to set this pump up, we're going to turn this valve down quite a bit, just so we can help the pump not out pump the water. Because this system's kind of finicky because that whole pipe is full of air and you gotta get the air out of the system. Maybe I have to open the auto valve up down there. Sometimes you gotta flick the switch on and off. So we gotta get this auto valve to open, but I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna try to help keep the pump primed by putting a little restriction. There we go. Now the auto valve's opening. We just gotta hope that we don't drain the system too fast up there, because right there's no extra. It's like a big draw pipe, so you gotta have enough water up top. And we're just gonna slowly fill this up and flush it out. I'm down here at the end and our drain plug is out right there, and I see our drain plug. I really hope our clamp's up there too. That would suck. But we probably have one of those clamps laying around. So basically we're just gonna wait until the water gets here and cleans out, and then once the water's clean, we can go back up, or actually we can just go right here, turn the switch off, stick the plug in, turn the switch back on, and get going. But hopefully the water gets here. Well, we got water moving, it's draining, it's coming, but I think having both those valves shut down pretty tight is kind of a little overkill. So I'm gonna go actually back to the pump station to the gear valve and open it up a little bit. And that way we can let some more water through here, because we got water coming. It's dripping. Some of the sprinklers have got water. So we're doing it. We're doing it. Farming 2026, people. The whole idea why we're doing this is to eliminate this. This sump, usually you had to pull water from, and so you'd suck it dry when you're trying to fill it up. And then when you had to shut off, it leaked everywhere, and it just makes a huge mess because it just runs down this ditch and then out into the field. So I'm trying to eliminate that. One, because I want to farm across the ditch and make my life easier, but two, because I don't want a big wet spot out in the field. So got plenty of pressure. Okay, this gear valve is gonna be open all the way. That means the only thing really holding pressure back, that looks not good. We got a pretty good leak there at tower number 8765. We're gonna go open up the hand valve at the pivot point a little bit too. Figure out what that leak is. Give this just a little more. Still has pressure. Looks like we got a good plug somewhere. I see. That is a large split in the pipe. Is that why there's a lot of pressure? There's water right to there, but there's no more water, it doesn't look like. Well, we're getting water, but looks like we got a whole bunch of garbage in this pivot. Oh, what is that? Birds, dead birds. That's gross. There's more of them. There we go. Now we just wait till that cleans up. Then we'll go figure out about fixing this split. All right, that's draining. That was looking pretty good, but big old split on number 5 we're gonna have to fix. So I'm gonna go get my welding tools and we're gonna drive out here and try to fix that. We're doing this little old school style. We got a ball in the bumper, got the welder. Let's take a look at this crack. Oh, oh boy. That's gonna be fun to work on. So we gotta get all of this back down. What it looks like to me, what happened is this drain right here is supposed to drain the water, and it didn't, causing water to build up here. And that is definitely a frost blowout. So that's exactly what actually happened. I opened the drain up, it's draining now. This was plugged full of mud. It was plugged full of mud up inside of that drain. And so that's what caused this. So no fault of pivot build or anything, because this pivot was installed last year. So we're gonna tap that down. I may have to heat it up with a cut and torch, and we'll get it all fixed up, and then we may have to weld it up a little bit, but it is what it is at this point. We gotta fix it. So it's not looking too bad. I've got it flattened. Obviously it's hard to get these wrinkles out to make this sit flush, but I could probably weld to about there and weld to about there. Let me just have this piece. So what I'm gonna do is look for a little scrap piece of metal, and if not, I may Texas TIG that back into place. A couple things here. This is not ideal, but I do not have a small rod. I've only got 532 5 feet plus, which is kind of a intense rod. Not what you need. I need to have a little piece of metal that would work. So I've got welding rods, and we're going to do what's called Texas TIG. Now this is not structural welding. I'm literally going to strike my arc with this hand and feed metal in with this hand. Probably weld this up first though, we'll see how that goes. I've got it turned down pretty low. So hopefully we can get this fixed. This metal's pretty thin. It's only 1/8 of an inch usually. Got the first little bit welded up until I blew out. So now I'm gonna come here and weld this bit here, and then we'll just go back and forth until we get this filled in. It's gonna be a long process. I got the pivot welded up. It's gonna hold water. It's gonna hold a lot more water than it did. Was it pretty? No, it was not pretty. The welding rod I had is way too big, and anytime I tried to turn the heat up just a little bit to make it weld right, blew holes. So it's ugly, but it'll hopefully hold a lot more water than it did before, and I think it will. It may leak a little. We may need to go back later with some smaller welding rod and just go over the top of it and make it look a little bit better. But really that doesn't matter that much. I'm gonna go drop the welder off, and then we're gonna go back and start that pivot. I do have to find a clamp though for the end plug, because I'm pretty sure I lost it. All right, let's go get that pivot started. I'm pretty sure I found the clamp I need, a 4-incher for the end plug. So now we can go start the phase converter, start the pump, let it flush a little more, because it's probably a good idea to let it flush a little more. And yeah, we're gonna start this pivot. Let's go get water going. So this is a perfect example of what we're trying to eliminate. Every time we do something, we have to, the water runs out there. So that's why I want to seal that up, so all that water's trapped and it can't go nowhere. Oh, my pipe must have blown off with the, there must have been some air bubbles and it blew my pipe off. It's exactly, must have really blown my pipe off. Well, that was a little bit of a mess, but we're hooked up now. We're just waiting for it to, it'll hook up and prime here in a second. All right, we're pumping water, so gonna head and go down to the end and let it come flooding out again. And it looks pretty dang clean now. So what's cool about these pivots is you can come up here and there's a switch under this box. So I can turn that switch and it'll shut the auto valve off, and we can plug this hopefully and get it filling with water. And then we'll turn the switch back on. And now the auto valve should open back up and it'll kick this pivot on. We're slowly building pressure up. Got a lot of hoses coming out still.